Did that show for, does it say we're recording, Faheem? Okay.
All right, welcome everyone to this session. Today we will be listening to Etienne Douglas, Library Technology Program Coordinator, and Faheem Bassa, Library Assistant 2 from the Marin County Free Library, present Demoing VR with Webstars. I want to thank them for presenting and looking forward to this.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for attending our presentation. My name is Etienne, and my colleague, co-worker, Faheem, can you say hello?
Hello, how's it going, everyone? Thank you for attending.
So I'm just going to jump into our presentation. And we did start the recordings. Okay, so this is Demoing VR with Webstars. So that's me on your left. I'm the Library Technology Program Coordinator for the Marin County Free Library. We currently, Faheem and I also work at the same branch. So we currently work at the Marin City branch. So my previous title was Webstar Coordinator. And then Faheem is a library assistant too. That's him on the right. And he was a former Webstar. And will explain what Webstars are. Then he is now a library assistant too. Okay, so the question is, what are Webstars? So Webstars generally are students that help patrons when they come into the library. So the program started when our particular branch opened. So our branch is located in Marin City, California, which is the unincorporated part of Marin County, but we're connected to Sausalito, California, which many of you may know. So when the library, Marin City is actually a low income area. It has one of the few housing projects in Marin County. It was Marin City was started during World War II. It housed the workers that worked at the shipyards that built the Liberty ships for World War II. So many of the families that moved here for work, and they stayed, and that is the legacy of Marin City. So the Webstars were started when there used to be a flea market in Marin City, and they turned the flea market into a shopping center. In the shopping center, one of the stipulations was that the library, that there be a library in the shopping center. So when they opened this library, the Webstars were started. One of our supervisors modeled the program off of the Explainers program at the Exploratorium in San Francisco. So it was designed to have tech-savvy teens help people who come into the library, so help them log onto the computers, print, scan things, and then they also teach classes. So they're high school age students. It's a paid position. We do projects with different nonprofits in the area. So say an organization has an event, they will sometimes be asked to come and photograph at the event, or videotape the event, and then edit the video and give them the video once it's done. So there's a lot of different areas that the Webstars are used in. We've expanded to other branches, and there's actually a Webstar handbook that I've written, kind of outlining how to start your own Webstar program. So one of the things with the Webstars here is that we're targeting underserved youth, at least in our community. So these are youth that wouldn't normally have resources or opportunities in technology or even for work. So that's one of the things that we do, in Webstars offers a opportunity to learn job skills, responsibility, and learn while they're on the job. So if you have any, you want to look into the Webstar program a little bit more, you can visit the website here, www.marinwebstars.org. So those are pictures of some of the Webstars from that I've had while I was here. So I didn't start the program. I inherited the program in 2004. It was started in 1997. So VR training. So when when we first started using VR, we partnered with XR Libraries. Some of you may be familiar with XR Libraries. It was started by a gentleman named John McLeod, and he partnered with Facebook and HTC to get VR headsets into hands of the general public. So we had a fair here, the Marin County Fair, and they were demoing VR at the fair. So it was a long line. It was very popular. It was very hard to, you had to wait a few hours to even get a chance to try a VR. So I wasn't able to do it, but I approached John and I asked him, is there any other way that we can, that I can get a chance to try the VR? He said, well, would you like one in your library? And I said, yeah, of course, I love it. So they brought down a computer, and they brought down a headset, and that's when we really started demoing VR. Now, it was a perfect fit because the Webstars are available to demo VR on a regular basis. So we didn't have to have a program, but we'll get into that more later. So one of the benefits of this was, since we were a pilot project, we got to train at Facebook headquarters and HTC headquarters. And we also attended several, the Webstars got to attend several conferences to demo the VR. So I'll let Faheem speak on like his experience of learning how to use VR, or learning how to demo VR, and demoing the VR at the different conferences.
Hello, everyone. I'm Faheem, and I'll be talking about my experience as when I was a Webstar with training, and my experience as using the VR and learning how to use it, and the different rules that you really have to think about when either you are using a VR headset or you're helping someone use one. So in 2017, we had the opportunity of going to Facebook for training how to use the Oculus headset. And in the beginning, we just got a brief introduction about it and what the Oculus headset is, what it's capable of doing, and basically like some rules that you wouldn't really think of when it comes to like helping people use VR headsets or using it on yourself. Uh, so when we were at Facebook, we basically use kind of like a partner system of one person would act like they're demoing the VR, and the other person would be the person acting like they're the person in charge of making sure the person who is demoing the VR is doing it in a safe manner and also enjoying it at the same time. And through that process, we also got to learn that since it was a new technology at the time, that for some people, they can get right into it and then it'll work out good. They'll start enjoying it. And for others, they still have to take a few seconds to realize that it is a virtual reality in the world you're entering into. And if you do have fears of a few things, you also have to take into account that if you do notice that people are basically freaking out while using the VR, that you just let them know beforehand. They can take off the headset or just close their eyes, so that way they don't have to continue with having a bad experience if they are. And then we also got to go to HTC. It was along the same concept. We got to learn, had a little introduction about HTC and like their VRs, and then got to test out some of their games and different softwares they're running. Along with going to Facebook and HTC for learning how to use the VR, we also got to demo VRs at different conferences, and we also had the opportunity of installing a VR at a library which is about 3 to 4 hours away from us. And also in 2017, we got to go to the Merced Public Library. We installed a Oculus headset at their branch, and we also had the opportunity of having some of the local patrons come in and demo the VR so they can get an experience and also know that their library is offering a virtual reality station. We also got to go to a couple Oculus conferences where we got to see the new games and different design for the headsets that were coming out. We got to demo different things that different companies were doing with VR headsets. And we also got to go to ALA and CLA to demo Oculus, well, different virtual reality headsets to different patients that were coming in and out of the building.
Yeah. So the Merced experience, when we went to set up the VR system for at that library, is fairly indicative of what we're talking about as far as why the Webstars are a good solution for demoing VR. Because in Merced, the way they had to do it was they had to schedule a time. They had to schedule an event, and it was so Saturday from 2 to 4, and people got to come in and try it out. So the benefits of having Webstars is you can have VR on demand. So the way it works at our branch is if the Webstars are here, you can approach them and ask them to demo the VR. So we actually have a open and close sign to let patrons know, okay, the VR, there's a Webstar here and the VR is open. Because we do get a lot of return patrons that come and they all want to try the VR. Is it open? And sometimes it's during the day, so there's the Webstars are at school, so they don't they get here usually in the late afternoon. So we made a sign to let people know, okay, the VR is open to use. So it's not, you don't have to schedule a program, you don't have to you don't have to have a specific event for it from this time to this time. It's open for anybody to walk in. And the benefits of that is that you're freeing up library staff who would usually, at least at our library, are doing a lot of other things, busy doing their actual work and don't have time to, leave the desk when somebody wants to come and demo the VR. Now, some of the restrictions that we learned and at Facebook and HTC is their age limits. So Facebook had an age limit of 13 years old. Facebook, I'm sorry, I was reading the question. Facebook has age limits of 13 years old. HTC had an age limit of 8 years old. So we basically we started going with the 8 years old. Now, if a parent, we have had parents, we do notify parents that these are the limits. Now, if the parent wants to either further restrict their limits, then that is up to the parent. They can request it. They can request that their child not use the VR, or if the parents are really adamant about them using it before the age of 8, then we will grant that request, but we will not demo VR to anybody under 8 years old. So what we found is that once somebody does VR, that they usually want to do it again. And many in the room probably have that experience, that if it doesn't disorient you, if you're not the type of person that gets motion sickness, then a lot of people want to experience it again. So we have time limits. If there's a line, then we have certain limits, but if there's no line, then we do give them the opportunity to stay on the VR for an extended period of time. And we get a lot of return patrons. So you can see in the pictures that some of these pictures are from Merced when we were setting up and demoing to the public. Okay, so our time limits. Okay, so I will get to that question in a second. The first question: are Webstars available internationally? Is based in Webstars are currently just based in the United States, as far as I know. So if we have presented the Webstar program to within conferences and given out handbooks. So if other libraries have started Webstar programs, I'm not aware of it, but they may have. I know we've given it when we were at the Oculus conference. I did give somebody a handbook that was in Singapore. They were very interested in how we started the program. So we definitely want to encourage. We believe it's a good pathway. Number one, is great experience for teens. It gives them confidence and maturity. Many of our teens have gone on to careers in tech and careers in the library. So Faheem, for instance, has continued his career into the library field. I had another Webstar who's currently a librarian at the local school here. So we do encourage a pathway if they're interested into library work. I also have Webstars going to work with Microsoft and going into IT. So it does have a tremendous impact on the ones who, on the kids who go through the program. So, and this is initially when I first started, the 2 Webstars that I hired were the only 2 that graduated from the local high school. Previously there was a gap in the education from middle school to high school in this community. So we've closed that gap, but there was a lot of kids that were not prepared for high school. So once they left middle school and went to high school, it would be too much for them. So they'd have to go into alternative education. So what are your time limits when somebody's waiting? Yes, so when somebody's waiting, we limit it to 5 minutes. So outside of that, if nobody's waiting, then we'll give them up to 15 minutes. And normally there's a group of kids that come in, so we have to kind of keep them in line and limit and make sure that we limit their time. Most popular apps and experiences. So one of our biggest apps is what's it called? Job Simulator. Kids love Job Simulator. One of the more recent ones we have is that kids like is the boxing. They also like Beat Saber. So Beat Saber is one of the more popular apps. Do we have cleaning, sanitizing protocols for the shared headsets? Yes, we do. So once somebody's done with the headset, what we do, we have a UV wand that we go over the headset with, and then we have sanitizing wipes that we also sanitize the headsets. And then also we have multiple headsets. Again, if at a few events we'll have multiple headsets. So what we'll do is we have a VR. I'm sorry, not a VR. I'm sorry, a UV toaster type thing. We put the headset in there, so we can. So while one headset is being used, one is being sanitized in the UV toaster. That's what I call it. So so then when they're done, then we switch them out. Any other questions? So just to add on about my experience doing VR and being a pilot project, has been very exciting to be on the cutting edge of technology. And I believe libraries are, that's one of the things libraries exist is to give resources to those who wouldn't normally have resources. So I know growing up, I had a computer, and most of what I learned from using computers was because I had one at home. Now, kids that do not have that access, we want to give underserved communities that access as well. We have 3D printers here. We have VR. So they will be able to have the same opportunities as someone who has access to those resources. So I do the same in Beat Saber, etc. But I love to expose teens to actually create VR experiences. Have you tried that? Yes, we have. So we have worked with XR. So XR Libraries is one of the organizations we work with regularly. So recently, we created a VR experience. There was a VR experience that we created to for that chronicle the history of the shipyards here and the people who work there. So what we did was we have interviews of residents that worked in the shipyards in the 30s and the 40s. And so you go through the VR experience and you can hear what they said back then, and you see a model of the ship. You see the person, and you're at the shipyard. You're on the ship, and you get to speak to this person and hear the experiences that they went through. So there's a lot of history here, and so one of the things was the students that participated, their families were actually some of the people that were that worked in the shipyard. So we do have an experience of chronicling that, and that was created from the ground up. We also want to use VR in teaching coding and 3D modeling. We want to use Roblox as a introduction to VR. So hopefully we will be able to do that in the future. Any other questions? Okay, so if you do have any other questions or you want to contact us, this is our contact information. That I believe that is us at Pasadena. Those you see on the right, there's 3 Webstars that were that presented what it's like being a Webstar and what they do on a regular day. And please feel free, if you want a copy of the handbook I created, you can contact me, and I can send that off to you. Oh, I thank you for joining our presentation. I hope it was helpful for you. I would love to see Webstars in many more places. I believe it's a win-win. It's an asset to the library, and it's a great opportunity for students. All right, thank you.